Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over my top 32 wide receivers in the NFL this season. So I'm looking at every single receiver in the league, people that have been injured this year, people that haven't been, people who have been playing the whole season, and I have to make this video by a subscriber. So if you guys have any subscriber requests, put them down below. I'm trying to get to every single one, but I have my own video ideas as well as these requests, so I might not get to it for at least a week or maybe 2 weeks. So just if you do request a video, keep in mind I might not get to it right away. But with that being said, let's get into the video. So the first sheet here is number 32 through 24. I have Julian Edelman on here because he's been injured for the entirety of the season. He was injured almost every single game until he went on IR, and then he's been on IR since I think week 5 or something. I have him on here because I do think that he belongs in the top 32 wide receivers in the NFL, and if he had a healthy season, he would be on this list. 31, we have Brandin Cooks. At 30, we have T.Y. Hilton. At 29, we have C.D. Lamb. At 28, we have Robert Woods. At 27, we have Cole Beasley. At 26, we have Tyler Boyd. At 25, we have Corey Davis. And at 24, we have Cooper Kupp. Now, I know a lot of these players are very, very strong players. But it was surprising to me to see how many incredible wide receivers there actually are in the league. So Brandin Cooks has been around to a couple different teams throughout his career, and he's performed well with all of them. He's never been a star, but he's always been a very solid number 1 or number 2. T.Y. Hilton had a very strong start to his career, but the last couple seasons haven't been his best. I still think that he's a phenomenal wide receiver. He's coming in at number 30. 29 is C.D. Lamb. He's a brand new rookie this year. He's doing amazing on Dallas, and I can't wait to see more from him. At 28, we have Robert Woods. I've never been a Robert Woods fan. I know that he's a phenomenal wide receiver. I personally have never found him to be as phenomenal as some people think that he is, but I think that he is a very solid top 30 wide receiver in the league. At 27, we have Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley is on the Bills right now. He's been on Dallas. He's on the Bills. He works well wherever he goes. He's like a Julian Edelman type player where wherever he goes, he'll do well, and he will be that guy that if the quarterback needs him, he's right there. If the quarterback needs him, he's there. And he'll always be available for the quarterback. He won't be a star on the team, but he'll always be there when the quarterback needs him, and that's an important part of the football game. At 26, we have Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd played very well for the Bengals last year and this year. Last year when A.J. Green was gone, and this year even when he's back, still not his top self. Tyler Boyd has been able to lighten the load off of some of the other wide receivers on the Bengals, and he's done a very good job with them. At 25, we have Corey Davis of the Tennessee Titans, and at 24, we have Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. Titans and Rams have both had some fantastic wide receivers the last 2 seasons, and Corey Davis and Cooper Kupp are right up there with the rest of them. 23 through 16, we have Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, A.J. Brown, Will Fuller V, Deebo Samuel, Robbie Anderson, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Amari Cooper. Terry McLaurin is at 23. He is a second-year player on the Washington football team. He had a phenomenal season last year. He's doing phenomenally this year. Again, I wouldn't say that he's a star wide receiver, but I think that he's a very good wide receiver. He's a very strong player, and he opens a lot of opportunities for his quarterback, no matter who the quarterback is. He's had to deal with a lot of revolving quarterbacks over the last 2 seasons, and that just adds to his resume for what he's been able to do as a wide receiver in just 2 short seasons. DJ Moore is another young player, not as young as Terry McLaurin, but he's on the Carolina Panthers. He has been their starting wide receiver. He was injured to start this season off, but since he came back, he's been the DJ Moore he was last year. I think that he's a little bit of an underappreciated player. I think that he's underrated a lot of the times, and I think that I might be underrating him here as well. But I think he's a very underrated wide receiver compared to some of the other star receivers in the league. And I think that his injury has hurt him even more in that category this year. At number 21, we have A.J. Brown of the Tennessee Titans. A.J. Brown is a second-year player. He is a beast. He is massive. He has very good speed, and he's just a gauntlet to deal with, especially with Ryan Tannehill. And at number 20, we have Will Fuller V. Will Fuller has been on the Texans his entire career. He's always been behind DeAndre Hopkins, and now that he has his time to start, he hasn't been injured. He's having a phenomenal season. Will Fuller is one of those players that's always done well, but he's always been injured. I don't think he's ever played a full season. Even this year as the starter, having his phenomenal season that he's having, he got a suspension. I forgot what for, but Will Fuller just can't finish the season, but he is a phenomenal player, and I think that he could be a top receiver in the NFL as the starter with a full 16-game season. Deebo Samuel's on number 19. He is another second-year player on this list. He had a phenomenal season last year. He didn't have all the stats, but he was one of those players where if Jimmy Garoppolo needed him, he was that quick guy that could get it right out of there for a whole bunch of yards. This year he's been injured, and he came back with a bang week 12. Week 13, his game was still phenomenal. It wasn't quite as big of a game as week 12, but he is a phenomenal player. He does a lot for his team, and he opens a lot of options that Jimmy Garoppolo or Nick Mullins or whoever the quarterback may be that given week has an option for. At number 18, we have Robbie Anderson of the Carolina Panthers. I always thought Robbie Anderson was a better player than people thought he was, and the reason why is because he was on the Jets. Now that Robbie Anderson is out of New York, now that he's on a new team with a good quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater, he's having a phenomenal season. He doesn't have the touchdowns, but he has the yards and he has the everything else that a wide receiver you'd look for in your star wide receiver. He does a phenomenal job catching the football, and he can get a lot of yards after the catch as well. Number 17 and number 16 are Juju Smith-Schuster and Amari Cooper. Smith-Schuster is not having the season that we expected him to have this season, but he still has been a phenomenal addition to the Steelers over the last couple of years. He's been able to fill that gap of Antonio Brown for the last couple seasons, and now that the Steelers have some more options with Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson, they don't need Schuster as much. He's still that player that they need, but they don't need him in every single situation. That's why his stats have gone down, but he's still the same player he has been the last couple seasons. That's why he's at number 17. And number 16, we have Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, again, hasn't had the same stats that he could have had the season if Dak Prescott had been healthy, but Amari Cooper's a phenomenal player. He's been able to really help out Andy Dalton in his transition to being the Cowboys quarterback, and Amari Cooper has had a great season. Now, number 11 through 15, we have Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, Justin Jefferson, and Calvin Ridley. This is where we start getting into the good guys. Everyone else has been very good. These are when we get into the stars. Allen Robinson's been on the Bears, I believe, his entire career. He was on Jacksonville, and then he came to the Bears. Two very tough teams to do well as a wide receiver. And he's been able to do well every single season of his career. He's always been that star guy. He's always been that necessary guy that the team needs in order to move the ball. And I think that that's an important piece of his character as a player, and he's a fantastic player. At number 14, we have Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin had 1,500 yards last year when Jameis Winston threw the ball for 5,000. Tom Brady this year is not on track for 5,000 yards, but Chris Godwin is still having a season of his own. He has been injured here and there, and he hasn't had the best season he could have, but he's still a phenomenal receiver. Tyler Lockett is next up. He has been having a phenomenal season with Seattle. Him and DK Metcalf have been going back and forth the whole year with Russell Wilson. But he is very inconsistent. He'll have a lot of production one day. He won't have any production the next day. That's not really a him problem. That's basically who he's playing as a defensive back. But I think that Tyler Lockett is a phenomenal wide receiver. He is, in the last 3 seasons, he has caught 70, I think almost 80% of his passes in the last 3 seasons combined. So he is coming on strong in the second half of his career so far. Justin Jefferson at number 12 is a rookie this year. He is the highest rookie I have on this list. He's on the Minnesota Vikings, and him and Adam Thielen have just been back and forth and back and forth. Unlike the defense, the Vikings offense has been nothing short of fantastic this season. And when Kirk Cousins is hot, Justin Jefferson is hot. And he has a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. He is a phenomenal receiver for a rookie. I thought I had him too high for being a rookie, but I think he's in the right spot. And at number 11, we have Calvin Ridley, right before the top 10. Calvin Ridley had a great season last year, and this season, when they needed him most, when Julio has been out, when Julio has been injured, they have Calvin Ridley in here to save the day. He's been able to pick up the slack that Julio couldn't during his injuries, and he had a fantastic season being able to fill the role of Julio Jones without Julio Jones on the field. Coming at number 10, we have Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, I think, is a very underrated wide receiver in the NFL. He has been on the Chargers for the whole of his career, and the Chargers are a very neutral football team. They used to have Philip Rivers, now they have Justin Herbert, and they've always been one of those teams where their offense is well, their defense doesn't do great, and they end up somewhere in the middle. Keenan Allen gets lost in the mix, and he never gets the recognition he deserves. I think that he is a very strong wide receiver at number 10. At number 9, we have Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs has had a phenomenal career with the Vikings. Now he's with the Bills, and he's having a great season again. And he's now the starting wide receiver. He used to be behind Adam Thielen. Now he is the starter, and you can tell that he is taking up that role very nicely. At number 8, we have DK Metcalf fighting with Tyler Lockett to get those receptions, to get those stats. DK Metcalf on the Seattle Seahawks has been nothing short of phenomenal. He has the height, he has the speed, he has the strength, he has everything that you want in a wide receiver. He has the vertical jump. He is a phenomenal wide receiver in every aspect, and him and Russell Wilson's connection has been nothing short of fantastic. Michael Thomas is number 7. Even though he hasn't had a great season this season because of his injury, he's pretty much been injured the entire season, and he was number 1 last year. He has to be top 10 still if he comes back healthy for next year. I have Michael Thomas at 7 right now. I think it's a fair spot for him. And number 6, we have Mike Evans. Mike Evans is one of those guys where everyone wants him on their fantasy team every year. Everyone wants Mike Evans. He's one of those players that's always consistently good, no matter who the quarterback is, no matter who the other receivers are. He has had a great career so far, and he's having a great season this year. Even with the way that Tom Brady likes to spread the ball around to a whole bunch of different guys, Mike Evans is still that red zone threat, and that is a sign of a good wide receiver. At number 5, we have Adam Thielen. Number 4 is DeAndre Hopkins. Number 3 is Tyreek Hill. Number 2 is Davante Adams. This is the cover of the video. Adam Thielen has always had Stefon Diggs with him for pretty much his entire career, just like Stefon Diggs with Thielen. This season, Stefon Diggs is gone. Justin Jefferson is in. So Adam Thielen, I think, always has never been able to get the stats that he, as a receiver, would have gotten if he was like alone or if his quarterback was Patrick Mahomes or something. But Adam Thielen has always had phenomenal stats, even with competition and not a star quarterback, but a very good quarterback. And Adam Thielen is a great wide receiver, number 5. At number 4, we have DeAndre Hopkins, who is one of the best all-purpose wide receivers in the league. Tyreek Hill gets those long bombs. Adam Thielen is that red zone threat. DeAndre Hopkins does everything. He does it all. He gets the long bombs, he gets the red zone, he gets the yards, he gets everything. And he is one of those guys. He's gone all-pro, I think, 2 of the last 3 seasons. He was on the Texans, now he's on the Cardinals, and even with a team change, he's still doing what he is doing. Tyreek Hill's number 3, Davante Adams number 2. There's not really much to be said here. Tyreek Hill and Davante Adams are the 2 best receivers in the league this season, and Davante Adams is only above him because he's played less game. He's done the same amount in less time. Davante Adams has had more yards, more touchdowns, same amount of touchdowns, more receptions, less games, and it's been a great season for both of those players. Tyreek Hill is the fastest wide receiver to ever play the game of football, and that has definitely benefited him in the long run. He could have been a professional sprinter if he wanted to be honest. I think that he actually could have done well as a professional sprinter, but he decided to play football, and I think that was a very good decision for him. And number 1 is Julio Jones. Now, everyone's going to say, hey, Julio Jones hasn't played this season. How is he your number 1 wide receiver for 2021? Doesn't matter. Julio Jones is the best wide receiver in the league. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Julio Jones is the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, and there's no question with anyone else. He is the number 1 wide receiver in this league in 2020. If he's injured, that doesn't matter. Next season, he'll come back and he'll be number 1 once again. Julio Jones is the best wide receiver in the league. He is a Hall of Fame wide receiver, and that's pretty much all I have to say on that. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, smash subscribe if you're new. We're reaching 600 subscribers pretty soon. We're at 580, which is insane. I never thought this could happen in 1 year in a YouTube channel. Never mind 5 months. So, thank you guys so much for all the support. I really appreciate it. Make sure to check back Sunday night for power rankings. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.